Okay, I'm going to go through some of the applications you had questions on. The first ones you had questions on were the cooling and heating problems, 1 and 2, on the worksheet. So just so you know that this is the formula I'll give you. On the top it will say either Newton's law of cooling or just law of cooling. Okay, so you know that that's the one you're using. You need to know that T sub m is the temperature of the medium, which means the temperature that surrounds it in the air. T sub 0 is the initial temperature of the object. E is just a number. K is a constant that you'll have to find usually. T is the time. And then this means T of T, like F of X. So this is just your Y value, the temperature at any given time. So if you know it's at 5 minutes, it's a certain number of degrees, you put in T is 5, and your temperature would be over here of 300. So when you're doing these, they're always going to give you enough information that you can solve for K. Okay, so I have this done, and I'll kind of just explain what I did then. I set this up and said 450 was T sub 0. The pizza was initially 450 degrees. It was removed, and the room temperature, so that's T sub m, is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So I plugged in 70 degrees, my initial temperature of 450, and then the information they gave me to find K, it says after 5 minutes, so when T is 5, the pizza is 300 degrees. Okay, so I need to solve that equation. So I subtracted 70. I took 450 divided by 70 and got 380. So I divided by 380 because you always want to get this base by itself. And then I went from what's in exponential form to log form. So to go from exponential form to log form, you say log base E, so that's why I wrote natural log, of this value, 230 over 380, has to equal my exponent, negative 5k. And so then to solve for k, I'm just going to divide by negative 5. So on my calculator, you just type in natural log of 230 divided by 380, hit enter, or close your parentheses. I usually just hit enter, divide it by negative 5, and I got my k value. Now for k, you want to probably go up to at least 4 decimal places. The more places you use, the more accurate this answer over here will be. So that only finds k. So what that means is if you come over here, you'll still put in your 70. You'll put in your 450 minus 70, so I just wrote 380. Now you can put in k is negative 0.1004. And then the question becomes, how long will it take? So what is the time if the temperature is 135? So now I'm putting in all my information. I'm going to solve for t when the temperature is 135. So I subtracted 70, divided by 380, got my base by itself. Again, I put it in log form. Log base E, so natural log of this number equals my exponent. To solve for t, I have to divide by negative 0.1004. So here I got my t value. Now some of you want to circle your answer there, but make sure you answer the question. At what time? It came out of the oven at 5 o'clock. So at what time? Well, that was 17 or 18 minutes later. So I would accept either 5:17 or 5:18 for an answer. If you want to round that up to 18 minutes and say it's 5:18, probably also should put PM there, whichever answer you had. Okay, so be careful you answer the question. 2 is very similar to that. This one said the thermometer was reading 8 degrees, so that's your initial temperature. The room temperature was 35, so that's T sub m. It tells me that after 3 minutes, so when T is 3, the temperature was 15. So again, I have to take 8 minus 35. That gave me the negative 27. I subtracted 35 on each side. I have to divide by negative 27, which means I'll have a positive and negative divided by a negative. Put it in log form. Log base E, natural log of 20 over 27 equals negative 3k. Divide by negative 3. Here's my k value. Again, I plug in that k value. It wants to know What will it read after being in the room for 10 minutes? So now when the time is 10 minutes, I've got my K value. This is 8 minus 35. This is my 35. I want to know what is the temperature. So now I just can plug that into my calculator. I always start over here and take e to this power. Make sure this is in parentheses. Then I multiply that by negative 27, and then I add 35. And I get 25.1 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's the temperature problems. You also have a question on the logistic problem. So I just want to make sure you have the logistic. And again, on the top, it'll say, it'll be titled just logistic. And so what you need to know is that this is the population at any given time. C is your carrying capacity, or that limit of growth. A and B are just constants. So they have to give you enough information to figure things out. They first have to give you C. They either have to tell you carrying capacity, limit of growth, something, and so that limit is 500. So that's going to go in for C. They have to give you the initial amount. So if you put in the initial population and put in T is 0 at time 0, you'll get B to the 0, which is 1, so you'll be able to solve for A. Okay, so there's the formula we're going to use. So in our problem, I said P of T, this should be a T then probably, not an X. P of T is equal to the carrying capacity of 500 over 1 plus A times B to the T. When I put in an initial time of 0, so that just becomes a 1, I have A plus 1 plus A. The initial amount was 6. To solve for that, what I did is I multiplied by 1 plus A so that this goes away. Over here I had to take 6 times 1 plus A, which I really didn't show, I guess. 6 times 1 plus A equals 500. So what did I do? I divided by 6. That's where you see all of this. I divided by 6 to get rid of that. That's where the 500 over 6 comes from. And then I subtracted the 1 because that A plus 1 equals that. So I just subtract 1. So when you do that, you get an A value of 82.13. All right, so that gives you A. So then you're going to go back and you're going to plug that in again. And you're going to say, I sold my 500. It's 1 plus that A value now times B to the T. Now they tell me that after 8 years, so when T is 8, so I'm taking this formula, I know A now, I'm plugging in T is 8, I know the population is 21. So I set 21 equal to 500 over 1 plus my A value times B to the 8th power. So again, to solve for that, what did I do? I multiplied this by 1 plus 82 1/3, B to the 8th. Here it went away. Over here I had 21 times all of that, so I divided by 21. I subtracted 1 to get rid of this plus 1, and then I divided by 82.1, or 82 1/3. So that's what I have here is equal to B to the 8th. And then I have to raise it to the 1/8 power. So I ended up, after punching all of this in my calculator, and again, just take 500 divided by 21, hit enter, subtract 1, hit enter, and then divide by 82.3333. You get 0.8518. And this one just said I don't have to really answer any more questions. I just have to write the function. So I got my C value, I found my A value, and then there's my B. So P of T equals 500 over 1 plus 82.33, I rounded that, times 0.852 raised to the T power. Okay, so that's the two that you had questions on the front, on Newton's cooling law and on logistics.